Beautiful morning, huh?
Beautiful morning. Sunshine, no wind.
Just think of all the people on the freeway this morning.
I'm glad that's not us.
That is not us. After 7 hours of motor sailing from Newport Beach to the backside of Catalina Island, we arrived at Catalina Harbor, where we stayed 5 days. "5 days in one spot, how about that?"
Yeah, it was good.
That's almost a record, isn't it?
Almost 5 days. It was good.
Except for the breezy afternoons, it was pretty nice.
Yeah. I could do without the colder wind. Eagle Rock.
I think that's Eagle Rock.
Right.
We motored around the west end of Catalina Island and arrived at the isthmus at about noon. It being Tuesday, the day after the 4th of July, most of the boaters had gone home, so we picked up a nice mooring, spent the night there, had a good dinner, and the next day left for White's Cove. It being a beautiful morning, we cruised at about 5 knots down the inside of the island, down to White's Cove. That's one of the high-speed catamarans making a run up to the isthmus from Avalon. As we neared Long Point, we passed a bunch of kayakers from Camp Fox, which is just inside Long Point. We've passed Long Point, and this is a picture of Camp Fox. Their piers all been rebuilt. It'll cost them about $2 million. Soon we were going by Hen Rock, and we're going by the new pier at White's Cove. We dropped our anchor and had a nice dinner ashore with Tommy Tupman and his wife from Newport Beach. We had a peaceful night, anchored off White's Cove. Next day went ashore. There's Marty in one of the lounge chairs looking out at the boat. We barbecued again that night. Next morning we headed for Avalon. That's a Down East 32, sister ship to my bigger Down East 38. That's Toyon Bay we're going by. Here's one of the camps before Avalon, and here's all the condos to the west side of Avalon. You can see we're approaching the casino, and there's a beautiful schooner anchored right off Casino Point. We laid off Avalon. The harbor master came out. We were very lucky. He signed us up for 4 days on mooring 103. We got in, picked up the mooring, got the awning up. Here's some pictures of our neighbors around the boat. Avalon absolutely is totally a beautiful little city. Time to get the books out and relax. We went ashore the next afternoon and wandered around downtown Avalon. It was just great picture taking everywhere. Lots of people on the beach, lots of people downtown. There's Marty. We stopped by a waterfront little bistro. She had a great margarita. The sun is going down a little bit. We're now heading back out to the boat. You can see it out there to the left. Really, the boat is we love Avalon, but the best place in Avalon is aboard your boat. Anyway, we keep our little dinghy at the dinghy dock, and pretty soon it's sunset, and another day has slipped by. Oh yes, this is the new museum in downtown Avalon. It's no longer out at the casino. It's absolutely a beautiful building that's been totally restored. There's Humphrey Bogart. That other guy was Errol Flynn. There's lots of great old pictures. That's the casino. They've got a really neat model of the Catalina steamship. A little history of when the maritime service took over the island. Picture of Natalie Wood. That's the old telephone station in Avalon. A nice display of pottery, and it's set up probably for having receptions there, lots of room. And that's the Patricia Grace Steele gazebo. The Steele family is from Newport Beach, and it was really wonderful of them to help finance this project. Anyway, check out the museum. we found a thrift shop on our way out of the museum. It's right down the street. So I got a great deal there. I love thrift shops. Anyway, it's a little bit after lunchtime, so we walked on over to Descanso, which is a really beautiful white sandy beach, a little bit to the west of the casino. Lots of people were there. A lot of people come over in the passenger boats out of Long Beach, spend the day, and then head back. We've got a grassy field. Actually, at night, the deer are taking that place over, so there's been dozens of deer eating the grass there. They've become quite a nuisance. Anyway, after a beautiful lunch, we headed on back. That's Desperado. That's the boat that ties right next to us in Newport Beach. That's going to be the new fuel dock that they're putting in. Anyway, back to the dinghy dock. That's where we keep our little rubber boat. There's dozens and dozens of rubber boats tied up there. That's a Boston whaler with a big poodle aboard. That was kind of fun. Anyway, we're back to the boat under the awning, and it's time for a cocktail. It's Monday morning, and Marty has challenged Ernie to a game of miniature golf at the Avalon golf course. The loser's going to have to buy lunch. Ernie already knows that he's going to be the guy buying lunch. Golf has been Marty's life. Marty's dad, when she was 2 years old, gave her a custom set of golf clubs and put a little putting green in the backyard of the home. She just grew up playing golf, won a scholarship to USC, where she played 4 years of golf and won every tournament that she went into. Later went on to win the gold in the Olympics. Was the youngest woman to ever win Olympic gold. She was 14 when that happened. That was pretty amazing. She's the champ of the Avalon golf course. You can see by her winning form that she makes almost every putt, lots of holes in one. There's one, look at that, right up over the little trap at the top, no problem.
The other side?
That was par 4. She did it in 2. Here's a very difficult shot. You have to go up, hit the center thing. If you get in the center, you get on the center rail. The golf ball comes down, goes down, and almost goes in the hole. She did that one on a par 2, which is normally a par 6. The Wrigley Company has invited Marty to be the club pro in Avalon. She declined. They offered her an 8-figure salary, but she declined, said she will sign autographs when she's in town. We spent our last night in Avalon, and we're a tiny bit sad, but the next morning we left Avalon and went up to White's Cove and anchored near Hens Rock. Just before we started pulling our anchor, this beautiful schooner came on in and anchored right in front of us. Anyway, we're pulling our anchor and getting ready to set sail. We've got the mainsail up on our 2 headsails, have a nice westerly breeze, and we're doing about 6 knots. Well, Marty, was that a great 12 days?
It was one of the best trips ever. And it'll be a beautiful sail heading home.
It's 1 o'clock. We got a nice northwester building. We're already doing 6 knots. We're just barely out from the island. Catalina's falling astern. We're going to have a nice reach for about 4 hours. We're making about 5 to 6 knots. It's still a light breeze, but it's beautiful. It's sunny and warm and nice, and the boat's kind of cruising along quite nice. We did a lot of motoring on the backside of Catalina, so it's really nice to have the boat fully under sail. There's a powerboat going by us. This is scene of Marty at the wheel looking from down below. And that's
Hogue Hospital. We're right on board.
me taking a bearing on Hogue Hospital. A few more scenes around the boat. And of course we steered by compass almost all the way. It was overcast. We didn't really see Newport Beach till we were about 6 miles out. Way off in the distance there you see the Catalina Flyer. That's the passenger boat that goes between Catalina and Newport Beach. You can see Fashion Island off in the distance, land ho. And about 7 o'clock we rounded the jetty and we're back home in Newport Beach, the best harbor in the whole world.